thank you all for attending the virtual launch of Fail-Safe Hiring, a book authored by Raghu Ramaswamy. And I have been tasked with a very challenging mandate today. I have been asked to introduce our Honorable Minister, Mr. K. Pandiarajan, or KPR as we call him, in just 5 minutes. That's all the time Raghu has allotted me. How do I condense an illustrious career, a trailblazing illustrious career, in 5 minutes? So I'm going to try. KPR, as we all know, is a bit of a celebrity. So quite a few of you here would be aware of his humble origins. A son of a match factory worker, he lost his father very young, and thanks to a few scholarships, he put himself through college, accomplished his engineering at PSG and his MBA at XLRI. And then, of course, he charted his own unusual path to success, fame, popularity, and power. He chose the corporate world initially after his MBA, but corporate India could not hold or sustain the dreams of this young professional, the dreams and passions. 1992 was a defining year for him. That's when he launched Ma Foi. In an interview, when someone asked him why a French word, why Ma Foi, his answer was, that's because we're going to be international. And that is telling. That's telling because even at that time, it communicates the breadth and depth of his vision and dreams. So he launched Ma Foi, aggressively expanded it regionally, and exited the industry with aplomb. But let me tell you all a small trivia that not many of you all may know at this point of time. In this journey, he convinced his competitors to invest in him, to back him up. One in which he can make a difference. One in which he can influence with serious muscle. He chose to become a politician and chose to pursue his CSR initiatives. He is now a successful politician, a serving minister, and as for his CSR initiatives, they have touched infinite numbers of lives. Swarnambal Trust, Disha Foundation, they have enabled, empowered, ensured employability for the youth. In fact, they are mind-boggling in the ways they've touched various lives. So society in turn showered him with a lot of awards. I took a list of the awards, Raghu, and again, they're jaw-dropping. So if I have to call out every award he has won, I will need all of 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. So I would like to call out two, though. One is the Eisenhower Fellowship Award, and the other is the Thiruvalluvar Award given to honest politicians. In 2004, I met KPR. At that point, I was a minion. I had just a small agency. He was a legend even then. I wasn't sure if he would even speak to me. But not only did he speak to me, he actually sat down, talked to me, understood my plans and dreams, and gave me an invaluable piece of advice. He said, if you want to grow, don't be afraid to share. That's the way to grow. I still treasure that piece of advice, sir. I don't know how many of you all here are familiar with the fragrance triangle. It's the way we define a perfume. You know, the top note, the base note, etc. If I were to apply the same analogy to KPR, I would say the top note is a dynamic, vibrant charisma. The heart, the core would be sensible, practical realism. And the bottom note would be humility and magnanimity, two qualities that define him as a human being. He stands amongst us today, a colossus, a giant amongst us. But I take this little bit of pride in saying, hey, he's one of us. He's from our world. And who better to launch Fail-Safe Hiring than him? Fail-Safe Hiring is authored by Raghu. Let me take just a few more minutes to introduce Raghu. Raghu, again, I met curiously enough 16 years back in KPR's office, Ma Foi's office at Cathedral Road. I had known Raghu at that point as a fellow entrepreneur who ran a recruitment firm. But when I got into a conversation with him, I realized that there are layers and layers to this person. I realized that he had actually quit a well-heeled corporate job at HCL to start his own. I mean, how many people do that? We usually find youngsters moving from the agency to corporate. And that's why I'd like to call out Raghu as a maverick. A maverick is a kid of a goat that chooses not to move with its mom or the herd. It charts its own offbeat path, and that's Raghu, a full-blooded maverick. I also found out that Raghu curates and teaches interesting programs like management by watching movies. Management by watching movies is unusual and inspiring. That in an essence also I think defines Raghu. Raghu is also a thinker, and I would say this even if I had not known that he is a master's in mathematics from IIT. He has a formidable mind, and that's what caused him to come out with Pranav, an applicant tracking system, affordable ATS for us recruitment firms. So here we are, a corporate warrior, a recruiter by choice, an entrepreneur, a teacher, a thinker, a technologist. Who better to hunker down and write a book on best practices in recruitment than Raghu? On this note, sir, I would like you to say a few words and virtually launch the book.
Okay. Thanks a ton, Hema. Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi. Congrats, Raghu, for a great work. I could only glance through it. I've not been able to delve into it. There are some chapters I have marked for deeper reading. First, congrats for authoring a book like this. I've always wanted to do one like this. I've never managed to do it. To blend the reflective cap and the action cap is not easy to put that together. And I think you've managed it well. First, as a fellow recruitment professional, which has been my first identity, I wish you all the very best. May this book adorn the hands of every recruiter in town, in India, in overseas. I don't think this book has culture binding, so I think it can transcend cultures as the songs of A.R. Rahman does around the world. Unlike Raja, who's very culture bound, if you really look at. So, may I wish that this book really rests on the hands of, and more importantly, goes into the heart of every recruiter around the world, and also every candidate, because I think that's I've not read in many places that you've taken a candidate-centric approach to this book, which you also said. There are not many people who are very candidate-centric, as you know. Though, for instance, even MAFA, when I started, one of the statements we made was we will be candidate-centric. The honor of a candidate will be respected. We used to be known as a coffee company. That was many, many years back. Every guy who comes in, every candidate who comes in will get a cup of coffee. We started shrinking the size of the cup. It almost became, some 20 ml cup kind of a thing. So it, we couldn't afford it, honestly, at some point in time. Coming from North Madras to my home at Annanagar. So I think there are many air pockets, I'm sure, like they have in the aircrafts. This must be the telecom air pockets or whatever. So my apologies. Yeah, I'm also very delighted to see almost 60 people, 70 people come for a book launch. I've done book launches where, we were scrapping around to cross 50. I think obviously the recruitment community is standing by you, which is a good thing, Raghu. And Hema, I was very touched with your recall of 2004 in the first place. And leave alone recalling what I said at that point in time. Very delighted to meet both of you over the digital world. And when I saw Raghu walk into my home with a book in his hand, I was quite delighted to see him. I've seen him in many of the, within quotes, intellectual forums in Chennai, wherever I go, he'll be a surprise presence. And it's a pleasure to launch this book. And I've also seen his penchant for attempting to make things simple, uh, flowcharts and you know matrices and whatnot. It looks very readable, looks very light, and especially it was very new to me. As you know, I'm out of recruitment for some time now, so even as the world of recruitment started changing with a lot more digital tools, I kind of moved into another world. So, really speaking, the chapter on using social media, uh, constructing a LinkedIn profile, using the job boards, many of them for me was things I wanted to catch up with, and I'm quite happy to see them. Even ATS, I didn't know that you had yourself crafted a ATS, and as Hema was saying that I started looking into it. Frankly, uh, you're actually listening to a very in-depth recruitment professional who's been away into another world for 20 years. So it's almost like getting into a time machine and going back 20 years and connecting with the world that, not 20 years, 10 years, sorry, yeah. Till 2010, I was reasonably active. So, but 10 years a long time in recruitment, as it is in most other uh, management disciplines. So, as I was going through the book, I've marked a few things which I wanted to really read again. Uh, I was a little concerned that the kind of allotment to psychometrics or assessment per se has been very small. I hope it doesn't reflect the reality of the recruiters world today, because somewhere, when I chose recruitment as a career for myself, one of the things I thought will pervade the world of recruitment will be one, quantitative techniques, which today, of course, has got transformed into analytics and things like that. And the second, I thought the world of recruitment will be dominated by psychometry. And I don't know whether it's true or not at this point in time. And these are two things which I believed will push up the role of a recruiter, up the hierarchy of values of what is valued in an organization. Somewhere, the two aspects. Yeah, I see a lot of technology, use of social media, but I was just searching for analytics. I hope analytics has still a role to play in the whole recruitment process. In fact, Mafa, when we started the new avatar, CL, one of the things we wanted to do was to build a tool, a matching tool, which is based on analytics. They've been struggling for quite some time, frankly, and with our own partner, the Morpha Analytics as a partner. Then at some point, we sold Morpha Analytics to L&T software. Uh, and I think they've been trying to build an effective tool which is based on analytics. I hope that uh, some of the organizations have taken that path and generated a few tools which are a lot more powerful. See, we always had this 20% jinx in recruitment. When you take the number of inquiries, I know even large multinationals like Randstad or Meteor used to kind of struggle where the conversion from the inquiry to actual placement used to hover around 20%. Okay, I don't know whether it's true now or whether we have moved away from this 20% jinx. I always used to say, even in ERA or in ISF, which I used to be heading for some time, I always used to say, if only we are able to move this to even 25%, this industry will become extremely profitable. And I think this entire commoditization movement in this industry can get reversed to a great extent if you are able to capture only or largely the assignments which we are capable of converting. And of course, measuring the conversion at every phase of the recruitment process. I think CL, our company, is still working through this, wading through it. And I wonder where the industry is in terms of this conversion process. Okay, I would surely like to see a chapter on this. I hope it's there. I've not read the full part of it. I see a good chapter on the brand, how I've always said this, as one of the early birds in this industry. I've always felt you need to build a brand. Marfa, I used to measure the recall, uh, whatever, top of the mind recall, or any of those brand related measures I used to take a lot of interest in. I think it helped us quite a bit when we went through this process of valuation of the company. And the other thing I wanted to point out was the intellectual property rights that recruiters can build for themselves. Small career design questionnaire, which we had built in Marfa. I always, I'm tired. I'm never tired of saying this. When the valuation happened at that point in time, the Ernst & Young, one of these companies which did the valuation, allotted a very high value for that particular tool, which we had the call it foresight or the insanity to go and take the IPR at that point in time, the Marfa's tool for career design kind of a thing. So I think it's very important for a recruiter to be sensitive to IPR, which can be generated by themselves. We wade through so much of data, and if we are able to make meaning through any of the analytics properties that you could kind of discover along the way, and if you're able to do a kind of intellectual property right on that, the value as an enterprise, every company which goes into valuation is to be positioned as a product company. Can recruitment companies emerge as companies which create new products and add value to themselves and to their own organizations? That's a question I'd like to leave, and let me wish all the very best to Raghu. May your creative juices continue to flow. May there be many other explorations in the domain of hiring or talent acquisition that you chosen for yourself, and may your mind and soul remain as young as ever. I read a very interesting thing. First time I'm hearing anybody who recognizes Vishnu Sahasranamam for the value it added to him to spell or to pronounce names correctly. So I thought, he's going to recognize Vishnu Sahasranamam for giving him a spiritual strength or kind of rigor in work or whatever. The first time I saw someone recognizing Sahasranamam for, recognize for being able to pronounce the names correctly in many languages. So I like the way you have put that. I think you have a gift of writing. May Saraswati, Goddess Saraswati, bless you in abundance to create many more such creative work, and may your breed increase. May you continue to enrich the community of HR professionals, community of recruitment professionals. I think it's great to be able to say 25 years I've chosen one vocation and added value to the vocation. I think I'm sure you're leaving behind for the posterity something of great value. All the very best, Raghu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pandiarajan.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. And can I actually address one point that you raised? A quick minute, actually.
Yeah, sure.
You have actually raised a question on whether I have addressed analytics. So there is a specific chapter on transcending technological trends.
Okay.
So the matter of concern for me, recruiters, the concern for me is technology comes, technology goes. Right from the job boards, we've been having technological innovations. The most important thing is the culture of data compliance. That is what I am concerned about, because once you have the culture of data compliance, then automatically you can leverage any technology. So we have made specific address to that, especially taking instances from Battle of Britain, in terms of seagulls and bombers confusion matrix. So you address that actually. So I just wanted to let you know that it has been addressed, but it has been addressed from a different perspective. So thank you very much, sir. It's been a great pleasure and a honor and a privilege for you coming and declaring this open amidst your tight schedule. Thank you very much, sir.
A great pleasure and unveiling this book. I really hope that many more editions of this come out, and all the very best. Yes. So happy to see the
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all the best.
Thank you very much.
All the very best. May this find its way to all the MBA schools, as you alluded to. And maybe you should make the Aman-Suman interface a lot more romantic to the youth of today. I think you just talk with the gentlest of kisses in the story we're reading. So I think probably we should make that a little more romantic and as substantial as you are. All the very best.
Thank you, sir.